Welcome back to part 2 of our coverage of round 5 of the UK Kart Series in 2024, featuring the second round of the British Pro Kart Championships. Last time out at Shellington, we saw an amazing race in the Senior Pro Kart category, which is the first race up in this programme. Before we get to that though, here are some of the highlights from Shellington, which included close racing throughout and the most dramatic conclusion to the race.
It'll be a fantastic battle. Careful as you place it. You've got to be very tough on the brakes, and a little bit of a slide there from Sam Spinale under brakes. Almost goes clean into the back of Aaron Alexander's kart.
UK plate winner is Aaron Alexander. He's taken the lead as they come through Bruno Ferrari chicane, if you prefer, for the first time. Watch out for Charlie Bingham. Jake, he was at the back of the grid, but we know from Whilton Mill earlier in the season, he was a real front runner.
And then we've got Shields, Lambert, Hogan, Plackett and Jake Richardson rounding out the top 10. Just a whisker in front of Seb Algieri and Sebastian Pereira. They shuffle the decks for the lead of the race. Is that going to be enough for Jessica Alexander to squeeze through into second place? It is, but only just, as John Hogan tries to work his way up towards the back of this quartet. Yes, Aaron Alexander is being ultra defensive considering how early in the race it is. He's trying to make his kart as wide as a Cadillac right now. This is the ultimate defensive race from Aaron Alexander. He clearly has absolutely no confidence in the performance of his kart compared to his rivals because he's just parking it. There's no way for anybody to get through in his current line. Monday again has a look, this time to get past Jessica Alexander, and the momentum, the concertina effect that is being generated by Aaron Alexander, just holding them up on the inside radius of every apex, is just backing us up. We're going to get 8 drivers battling for the lead. Maybe it could even be as much as 12 to 15, 16 karts. He is absolutely... Oh, now Monday had a bit of a look there.
Yeah, he's gone around the outside. He's trying to make up a place, and in doing so, he's lost a place because he's hung himself out to dry on the outside line, Jake. So he tried to go from second to first, took the wide line, trying to do the switchback, couldn't get it done, and that's cost him a place back down to third.
But look at Alexander. He's almost looking behind him as often as he is in front, and that is now a bunch of drivers nudging, trying to work their way further forward. The shuffle of the deck comes in again. You've got Aaron Alexander in front of Jessica, then Austin Monday, Spinale, Hogan, Shields, Lambert, Hack, Plackett, Richardson and Algieri. 2.2 seconds covering them all, and there's more drivers coming to join the party.
Jessica Alexander now has got a bit of a gap behind her. She could go wide and come back underneath on the exit. What's happening? She's alongside, side by side, Jake.
Surely this is going to be enough of a momentum in the Bruno Ferrari chicane. No! Aaron Alexander keeps the throttle wide open. He's not going to give her the space at all. And this is going to be enraging. Jessica Alexander, look, I've got 12 to 15 drivers on R6 right now, and you are slowing us up big time. Come on, if you're not going to race me, get out of the way.
Now I can think of any number of drivers back in the day. My son's had a look at this and he said in his day he would have nudged him out of the way. James Bean would have nudged him out of the way. Craig Copeland would have nudged him out of the way. Darryl McDonald, to be fair, Darryl would just have fired him off completely and taken the penalty.
Oh, Monday and Spinale are getting at the front of the queue that chases them down again. Look, Jessica Alexander going for a wide cut back, but it's not going to happen because again, Aaron Alexander has just placed his kart in exactly the right position. So Spinale has come back to third in front of Monday. Then we've got Shields, Hogan, Lambert, Hack, Plackett, Richardson, Algieri. Now, there's some good battles in this little pack as well moving forward. It's a very tricky one round the outside, but the momentum is back with Spinale. Can he hold it? No, he's not able to run that right round the outside because Jessica Alexander's already starting to threaten Aaron, who again just married to that inside line as they come through Cafe again. He holds the inside trajectory. Everybody else is trying to mix it with each other. This is nearly Indy 500 style stuff, isn't it? His Monday couldn't get it done. Oh, and off the road to get past. Goodness me. He actually put 3 of his 4 wheels off over the white line. Enough of this, Aaron. Move over. You are not going to park the bus anymore. And that is going to be almost as controversial as what Aaron's been doing for the last however many laps. Let's look at it again. Look, he's got all 4 wheels, in fact, over the white line to make the overtaking move. He's clearly had enough. Come on, Aaron. You're not playing ball, so I don't have to play ball either.
No, exactly. And I think that's how the officials are going to look at that, Jake. Yes, you're not allowed to drive off the track all 4 wheels over the white line. But look, Alexander's already decided, Aaron Alexander that is, he's already decided, I'm racing for second. He's still defending down the inside. That is going to allow the leader now, Spinell. Look, he's already got 4 or 5 kart lengths, 5, 6 kart lengths, and that could be it in terms of the win, because Aaron Alexander's decided, I'm still going to defend. He's racing now for second.
Well, if Aaron Alexander wants ultimate revenge on Sam Spinell, what he should actually do is let everybody go, because if he keeps defending like this, Sam Spinell's going to build a big enough gap that if he does get a penalty, he might end up with a win anyway. So you've got to be careful about these things.
That's true. He won't know at the moment.
Oh, Alexander's got a great run, though. Surely Jess can finish that off. Not quite. And in fact, that's going to concede the position to Maximus Shields, though Jessica Alexander keeps her elbows out and is just going to hang on to third. That's going to give Monday the shot up the inside of Shields. That's lovely from Austin Monday. The green machine goes up into 4th position. But look at that gap. That is how much Aaron Alexander has been holding this battle up. It's already clearly a second, very nearly, as everybody at the station hairpin just trying to jockey away for position. Kieran Lambert trying to get side by side now with Maximus Shields to try and come through, and that's done lovely.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen him coming down the return straight into Bruno chicane, not defending, and he's not defending now. So that's quite interesting. He's not defended there, down the return straight into the chicane, or coming down into the hanger bend.
Lovely run round the outside. John Hogan taking on Jake Richardson, and they went wheel to wheel through the hairpin. Hogan had to yield that one. Spinell now gets the fastest lap of the race in because he's got clear track in front of him.
Exactly.
He hasn't got the Aaron Alexander Wile E. Coyote roadblock anymore, has he?
And look at this. In second and third now, they've pulled away from this battle. We're just looking at their 4th and 5th.
Right, Jessica Alexander's got another great momentum run, but again, she decides to push Aaron Alexander further forward.
And Aaron Alexander there, Jake, has decided, for whatever reason now, he's not going to defend now. But it's too late in terms of winning. Yeah,
Sam Spinell's already got a second clear, and we've got 1.5 minutes on the clock, so clearly Aaron Alexander tried his best to get the win. Now that he hasn't got the win, he may as well just race for it and see what happens, essentially. Big dive! Oh, big dive on the inside. This is going to be tricky between Algerian runner, and they've gone! Oh my goodness! A big rollover! Well, that is horrific for Sebastian Pereira, and now there's steam coming off the engine. Now, fortunately, he's okay. The race has been stopped as, who was it that went with him? That was Carl Ruddock. So Ruddock and Pereira, in fact. I thought it might have been Algeri, but he just about got away from that.
Well, good to see him out of the kart, Jake. Looks like he's okay. The marshal's on the radio there.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Give him the thumbs up to his family and friends, no doubt.
Another one of those incidents that always looks worse than it actually is. Let's look at it again. So Ruddock has the lead of it. Up the inside Pereira. There's plenty of space there. No worries for that.
That's just a good move. That's okay.
Got a wheel on the curb, and then look, it's just a little bit of a squeeze. There's nothing untoward about that. The problem is, once those two wheels connect, you're on a one-way collision course with that tyre barrier.
Yeah, neither driver wanted to give it up, did they? And unfortunately, it ended up in tears. Sebastian Pereira out of the car after that incident. Unfortunately, he was okay. We're looking forward to some great action today, though, from Whilton Mill in the same class. That's coming up in this very first race. It's the Senior Pro Kart Pro and Elite race. Here are the grid positions with my colleague Jake Sanson.
Sam Spinell, pole position alongside Aaron Alexander. Jessica Alexander, no relation, third on the grid with alongside Charlie Bingham. Then Maximus Shields and Austin Monday, Jake Richardson, John Hogan, Ed Hack and Samuel Cunliffe in the top 10 of this very competitive Senior Pro Kart grid. Wonder who's going to come through. Spinell, the Alexanders and Bingham definitely in a very tough hunt for the victory. Henry Trenor alongside James Drabwell, then Gareth Plackett and Sebastian Pereira. Alfie Wilkes is alongside Jack Hewland, Ronnie Rowe, Mick Lord, Luke Tomlinson and Ben Morby. And that is a very tough opposition for the drivers in the top 10. A few of them could actually work their way forward on this circuit. A very competitive start is expected. Aaron Lord, Ty Lansbury, Connor McCarthy and Jacob O'Connor. And of course next year that will have a 25th, and that's Ike Needham. We saw him in the previous programme doing such a good job in Clubman. Off we go, and we're racing at Whilton Mill. Spinell with a good start. Jessica Alexander has already got through into second place. Good launch ahead of Aaron Alexander, positioning her kart in exactly the right places to work through down to the braking zone. Alexander trying to come back, and there was a little bit of a nudge. Alexander getting through then on Jessica. Oh, Aaron clearly had his boxing gloves out there for that one. That looked just like a little bit of a load for me. but Jessica Alexander is not phased, and she's going to get straight back into this one, already on the hunt for Aaron.
Great camaraderie in this class. You'll see little bumps and nudges, but they don't lose their tempers, these guys. I say that. There's been some shenanigans going on in the paddock today, I can tell you.
Had a couple of drivers going wide there. I mean, this is very nearly NASCAR in karting, isn't it? There's just a little bit of bump and nudge. Oh, check them out. That is absolute airtime. I think there was one on the deck and three in the air for most of them.
That was almost all four wheels over the curve there. Incredible. You see the difference, can't you, between the smaller Honda Cadet and Bambino karts? They don't have the size of kart to just go straight over the top of that curb. These guys do, and that's the fastest way around this new complex.
Yeah, I've spoken to drivers who have taken this new section of the end of the Whilton Mill circuit quite clearly to heart. Some of them love it, some of them loathe it, and there are actually a few that have actually had to walk away and get some treatment on their ribs done, and the bruises have certainly gone interesting new colours since going over those curbs here at Whilton Mill. But hey, it's all part of the test, it's all part of the challenge. Spinell leads the way. Aaron Alexander P2, then Jessica Alexander, Charlie Bingham, Austin Monday. Look at them, they're just launching over these curbs. They're like stadium super trucks nowadays. Extraordinary. Amazing racing in Pro Karts here at Whilton Mill. Spinell, your leader. Jessica Alexander trying to chase down Aaron Alexander. No relation, of course. They just happen to have the same surname. Fourth place, Charlie Bingham. And then this fantastic squabble between these three. You've got Maximus Shields, Austin Monday, Henry Traynor. And Traynor looking like he's hungry for a move. He just doesn't want to commit to that big move on the inside into Ashby. But these three up front, you can definitely tell that Aaron and Jessica are getting closer to Sam. He's not going to have things all his own way in this final.
Phenomenal and fantastic becomes fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
I'm phoning the Oxford English. That's a new word by you, Jake.
Yeah, I definitely came up with something new there. Now watch as they come through again. You see how much airtime they've got. But look at those two bollards. That's actually been installed this weekend, I do believe, to monitor how heavy the angle and radius is of the drivers coming through.
Yeah, I understand if you hit one of those bollards, it will be an automatic 5-second penalty.
Oh, check out that! A very angry Sam Spinell, not happy with the way Aaron Alexander was forcing him in the braking zone. That is almost a carbon copy of what Jessica Alexander is going to say that Aaron did on the first lap. Jessica takes her revenge, gets back through into Ashby, and Aaron Alexander finds himself on the grass. Now Bingham's going to come through. We do not wrestle like this, man. They're all three of the drivers deciding, right, if that's how you're going to play ball, we're going to shove you wide off the race circuit. See how you like it. Wow.
And Aaron Alexander had another two wheels on the grass there coming out of the bottom hairpin. Great racing, absolutely brilliant. Oh, tell you what, somebody nearly took one of those bollards
Look
out.
at Sam, he's absolutely furious. He is raging at the wheel. You've got Jessica, who was the executioner, Sam was the judge, and Charlie was the jury. Absolutely incredible.
Was it Aaron that nudged him up in Christmas?
It was indeed, yeah.
If it was, then that's what I was saying last week at Shannington, that Sam Spinell should have done, just nudged him out of the way. Back in the day, that would definitely have happened. Although I've mentioned a few times, Darryl McDonald, the legend that was, Darryl would literally have fired him off, no doubt.
Well, Sam Spinell clearly deciding, look, I was being shunted there. You could actually see puffs of smoke coming off his tyres. He was on the brakes, not enjoying being nerfed by Aaron Alexander. So now they've got to reset, move on from it. Let's focus on the racing again now. Aaron Alexander, Henry Traynor, Austin Monday and Maximus Shields battling away for fourth place, trying to give chase to the new leader, and that is Jessica Alexander. And I have to say, from Jessica, that was an almighty decision, because she saw what was going on between Sam and Aaron and went, right, this could be the one chance I'm going to have in this race to go for a gap at Ashby, and I'm making an absolute statement. I'm taking full advantage of this. Aaron did that to me on the opening lap. I'm not letting him get away with that a second time on anybody.
Yeah, this class particularly, you have to take the opportunities when they come. It's highly competitive. This class, the Pro Karts, it's become, frankly, Jake, one of my favourite classes in karting. I absolutely love this class. And this is the first year of the British Championships for sprint racing. We know these guys do a lot of 3 hour, 6 hour, 12 hour, 24 hour, including out at Le Mans. racing, but this is the first year we've had a British Sprint Series for the Pro Karts, and it's delivering action all the way through. It's been fantastic this season so far, and look at the battles all the way through the field.
Yeah, the drivers keep asking me, are you going to do any karting yourself, Jake? And I have had a couple of goes in different things. I would absolutely love a crack in these. This is my kind of racing, the kind of no holds barred, leave nothing on the table, give it your all. And this is the kind of class that would absolutely tempt me to wipe the dust and cobwebs off my race suit and give it a go. Just check this out as they go through Parker up to Wilkins. Some great racing in the midfield as much as there is at the front. Alexander still leads here from Sam Spinell, but look at it, just the way that the kart slides through those braking zones. We were just watching Richardson, Hack, Hogan and Cunliffe having a terrific duel over 8th place. Dives up the inside again into the boot. This is Wilkes, Drabwell, Rowe, Jack Hewlin, Mick Lord, Sebastian Pereira. Every single one of these talents just leaving nothing on the table. You've got to give your A game and you've got to bring it every time you get behind the wheel. It's amazing.
Absolutely terrific. They're battling all the way down. I think that was a battle for, what was it, 15, 16, something like that onwards.
About that, yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant racing.
So Spinell is trying his best to close back up on Jessica Alexander. Personal best on the last lap from Sam Spinell, but still not at the same pace as Jessica Alexander. We're only talking a couple of hundredths difference, though. In fact, not even that. Bingham third. Aaron Alexander seems to have settled for the fact that, well, I'll have to be in 4th place for a while. I clearly pushed a little bit too hard in that state of the race. Then Traynor, then Shields, Monday, Jake Richardson, Ed Hack, John Hogan and Sam Cunliffe. Still having their terrific battles. New passes that from Jessica Alexander. Wow, she's really found the form. Now that she's got into clear air, this is the moment. And as far as Jessica Alexander is concerned, time to claim it.
We're looking at that battle for 8th place. That's Jake Richardson out front here. Here we come. 8, 9, 10, 11 go through the picture. That's 12th and 13th, and here come the rest. And look at the battles all the way down the field. Another move being made, Jake.
That's Mick Lord making his dive on the inside of Drabwell. Very nicely handled. Jack Hewlin wants a piece of this. And watch out for Pereira and Morby. They want a piece of this as well. Dive up to the inside of Ashby. See, this is the thing. You can't just go hungry. You can't just look at it and think, right, well, there's a gap. I'm going to create one if there isn't one and just make it happen. Because you really cause a massive concertina effect. The risk of coming off worse is so substantial. You've got to know that you've got a good run as you come out of Christmas, effectively. Up through Inkermans, big slide. Oh, that's the concertina effect I was talking about. The second you get sideways, oh, you see the air time. You can almost fit another car underneath the gap they created.
Yeah, we need to get a stopwatch on the air time there, that high. It's incredible. What a great race. Terrific race all the way through the field.
Oh, I wish we had AWS on that to measure the distance up in the air they got. I'm fairly sure you could have squeezed another kart in that.
Back with the leaders.
Yes, indeed. So that's Alexander. And look, Spinell's actually losing ground now because Aaron Alexander is working with Charlie Bingham. He's having to go from poacher to gamekeeper, essentially. Let's work together. Let's try and work our way further forward here. And Charlie Bingham is obviously getting a benefit from that because he's obviously following in the draft of Spinell, but he's getting some support from Aaron Alexander. As we've said many times before, 2 drivers cut through the air quicker than 1, so this is definitely getting to be a bit of a battle building.
Yeah, the man in 4th place on track was the fastest man last time round, but he's not got track position
though. This is going to be tight as Traynor and Shields are going to war now. So Maximus Shields fancies his chances on Henry Traynor. He's trying to cut for every angle. Traynor slides around. I love the way the back end of the kart slides around. It's like they've got ice cubes strapped to the wheels on the rear end of the kart, but you've got so much physicality in a pro kart these days. Wonderful to see these guys just leaning on everything on the brakes, trying to squirt the kart back across to the middle of the road to stop the opponent coming through. Look at it, tank slapping. This is like rallycross watching these two. Excellent stuff, but there's not enough space for Shields to just commit to that inside line. But yeah, they're wrestling as they go through. You watch on the wheel, they turn into the right, and then they have to go back to the left to carry on turning right. It's like watching Lightning McQueen. Excellent stuff with these guys, but their battle has brought Austin Monday right back into the hunt. He's closing them down rapidly. Back to the battle for second. This is Spinell, Bingham, Aaron Alexander. Who's going to blink first? They are starting to run out of time now. We've only got A few seconds left. This is going to be the penultimate lap. And I sense that Aaron Alexander is going to want some revenge for what happened earlier on. Here he goes. Dives in on Bingham. Right, that's one. Now he can go for the second on Sam Spinell. Can he make second place? I think the win is well and truly gone. Jessica Alexander already has that sewn up. But can Sam Spinell hang on from Charlie Bingham and Aaron Alexander? Alexander now through to third. I'm not sure he's going to have the time to catch up to Spinell as we go into the last lap. So across the line they go. There's a great battle going on for fifth further back. That's Trenor losing out to Shields and Monday. So Henry Trenor, I did say that Monday had caught them up, but Shields and Monday have now made Trenor look a little bit sheepish through the final turn. He didn't look like he was too happy about it either. So Jessica Alexander well clear in the lead. Bingham's going to have another go at Aaron Alexander. Dives in. Take that. Beautiful move. That was lovely from Charlie Bingham into third place on the last lap. Textbook.
Yeah, definitely a Gary Barlow move there, Jake. Fantastic racing. Charlie was a little bit unfortunate here in that turn, in fact, back in the UK plate in February. But great performance today. It's going to be Jessica Alexander that takes this one, though.
Opportunist, superbly fast and absolutely charismatic as ever. Jessica Alexander takes the win and the photograph as they come through. That was an absolute proper snapshot.
Can I just say, Josh East there, Jake, obviously goes to the same gym as you.
He certainly does. Oh, we love you, Josh, we really do. But that's the dedication and the commitment to get that perfect photo shot. That's like Formula One in the 70s, isn't it? Love it.
Yeah, he just needs to be a little bit careful on those pants, doesn't he?
Pick the same colour, for goodness sake, Josh.
Yeah, if you're going to get down like that in front of a camera, you want to be careful.
Jessica Alexander gets the win from Charlie Bingham. Maximus Shields P3. Sam Spinell down to fourth position after a penalty applied. Aaron Alexander likewise down to sixth behind Austin Monday. Trenor seventh from Richardson, Hogan and Sam Cunliffe. So into Tyro Junior we go. Archie Gale and Sam Aston on the front row from Harvey Williams and Maddox Chan. Jacob Aston and Dan Parsons. Sam Skellett and Harry Loffer. And then Oliver Gibson alongside Bertie Soule. This is going to be an interesting 10-kart race. You may think that's low numbers, but in 1998, Lewis Hamilton only had a 10-kart grid and charged his way to prominence. Let's race at Whilton Mill once again. Archie Gale picking up the pieces on the start and launching his way to the lead through Crook and Oblivion. And as they go along Manuel's Bank and up Fine Lady, it's Archie Gale all the way. Harvey Williams trying to shake off Sam Aston, and already a little bit of slipping and sliding through Christmas. It was Sam Skellett that had to give best there to the hard-charging Oliver Gibson, who's already made up a couple of places on this start. Gale leading, Williams second, Aston currently third. So this is where the race really starts for Archie Gale. He's got a lot of pressure coming from at least 3 or 4 drivers who are still in the mix for this. You've got Harvey Williams lining up there in second place. Watch for Samuel Aston. Jacob Aston from Lichfield there in fourth position as well. Maddox Chan looks like he might be a little bit threatening, although he's got to shake off Sam Skellett if he wants to attack these guys up front. And as they come through, 9 minutes and a little bit of change on the clock, Harvey Williams really starting to assess the situation and think, right, I can stretch away a little from Sam Aston and go after Archie Gale. Down the straight into Christmas, no big risks yet, although I have to say, Oliver Gibson, that's P5. He's made the move, so that's very well timed there from Gibson. Already up from P9 to P5, and now we've got Maddox Chan. He sizes up the situation on Sam Aston, gets the move, but it doesn't work. Sam Aston gets him back, and then he taps his helmet once again. What are you doing, Maddox? We're losing the leaders. Why are you racing me?
Harvey Williams in second place, is the fastest man on the track, hasn't got track position at the moment. Archie Gale in that bright helmet, you can see there, and that orange helmet, I'm going to call it orange, could be red, but looks like orange from the drone. Easy to spot as they come across the start line one more time. Who's got the fastest lap this time? It is still Harvey Williams who sets another fastest lap.
So Maddox Chan wants to have another crack at Samuel Aston, but this is the move for Harvey Williams. He knows it's on and he's going for it. Maddox Chan likewise doing the same move at Aston, but he has to give it back. So Harvey Williams takes the lead. Aston hangs on for third position, but he's not happy because Maddox Chan is swarming around all over him. But Harvey Williams, that was perfect. Textbook manoeuvring to get through on Archie Gale. He made the run work through Crook and Oblivion, and as they passed Manuel's Bank, it was just a slam dunk. No issues there for Harvey Williams to get through to the lead.
Yeah, despite the overtake for the lead, these two look like they're starting to gap the drivers behind from third onwards. 5 or 6 kart lengths back to the man in third place as they come through the Chelsea boot one more time, across the line. Another fastest lap for Harvey Williams. Fastest lap after fastest lap. That's a three-peat now, 3 fastest laps in a row.
48.7 as well. He's definitely got the strength in the chassis to really make it work. He's got full confidence, and when you're in a one-make chassis series like the Tyro Juniors, that's what really makes the difference. That's what counts, confidence. You need to know what the kart is going to do. You need to have faith that you can execute it in every apex, at every braking zone, at every throttle application. It's all about confidence at this level. That's what really makes the difference in a class this competitive. Time for the braking zone. Chan, he almost went straight into the back of Sam Aston. That's how late he's leaving his braking, and that could be enough for Gibson. Gibson is getting hungry here. Up from 9th to 5th already, making up 4 places. So Oliver Gibson, definitely the man on a mission, but he could be a little bit held up here now, because we've got Aston and Chan tripping over each other in the battle for third.
Talking about Aston, Jacob Aston there in 6th place. Jake is the fastest man now on the track. Although there's only 10 in this race, what a great race it is, with 8 in the shot here from the drone. And Jacob Aston in 6th place, the fastest man on track, but he doesn't have track position yet.
Well, quality over quantity. I can remember in 1998, the first year I ever started watching karting of any kind. Lewis Hamilton only had 9 opponents consistently in his championship year, and that was in a British Championship class, don't forget.
True.
So it doesn't matter so much about the numbers if you can provide great quality racing. And this is exactly what Tyro Junior is giving us here, across the line. And still, Laffer and Soul having their own private battle for 9th. Skeleton Parsons are essentially racing each other for P7. Williams has still got a bit of a gap over Gale, but it's not the biggest gap in history. He needs a little bit of a help though, doesn't he, Archie Gale? He needs to find a way to reduce that daylight between himself and Harvey Williams. Otherwise, Williams has already got this race on a silver platter.
He's not looking behind Harvey Williams, is he? I like to see that. I don't like to see them looking behind, because it's an invitation. If you look behind and somebody's right behind you, they're going to throw one up the inside, expecting you to know they're coming, because you've had a look behind, you've seen me, I'm coming up the inside, you have to give me room, you can't just wipe me out. So I like the fact that he's not looking behind, although he may have looked behind there, just to clarify where he is.
But the straight is kind of where you can, isn't it? The straight is where you get a little bit more of an opportunity.
Gibson now in 6th place himself, and he's now the fastest man on track. So the fastest laps coming from further back. Harvey Williams set his fastest lap on the last tour, but it wasn't the fastest lap of the race.
So Gibson has caught right up to the tail of Maddox Chan. He doesn't want to spend too long sat behind Sam Aston and Maddox Chan as they fight over 3rd position, but he could also do with working with them a little to stay in touch with Archie Gale. He's got to be very calculated about how he goes about this. He can save himself a bit of time by working with them. Little bit of a moment there from Archie Gale, just lost a little bit of momentum, and that could be enough for Aston and Chan to start to gain on him. But look at Harvey Williams, head down behind the steering wheel. He's in absolute checkout mode. He's actually not the fastest driver of the top 4 this time by. He's actually the slowest, would you believe, but only by a few hundredths of a second here and there. So he's still got a gap enough to be comfortable with for the moment. But Archie Gale in 2nd could be run ragged here if Aston and Chan continue to push. Oliver Gibson needs to come up with something magic here from 5th position. Otherwise, he's just going to get held in this battle for 3rd place.
Harvey Williams has got a nice setup on that kart. Now the kart, because it's a solid rear axle, the inside rear wheel on a kart has to lift slightly off the ground. And when I say slightly, I'm talking a couple of millimetres is the ideal. That allows the front wheels to turn. If the inside rear wheel doesn't lift, you can find out you've got understeer into the corner. If it lifts too much, then it will be oversteer and you risk spinning.
So down the straight, again we've got Williams a few kart lengths in front of Gale. This is the moment for Oliver Gibson. So he's not going to play ball with these guys anymore. He's decided, look, you're taking too long to go after Archie Gale. I could sit here in 5th position and just wait for you to catch up to him, or I can just go and do the hard work myself. He dives in on Maddox Chan. That's P4 for Gibson. How long is it going to take him to go for Samuel Aston? That's going to be the game changer as to whether he can make the podium or not. But great racing so far from Gibson. He's just picking them off one by one. Harvey Williams, meanwhile, up in front. He's looking so planted, isn't he? Look, he just knows exactly where to place the car. This is a race-winning effort, and we've only got 2 minutes 40 on the clock.
Yeah, it was a great close-up shot by the cameraman there. Really gives a good overall dynamic view of what the driver is experiencing. Obviously, if we had on board cameras,
what a launch! Sorry, Alan, but Gibson came from a million miles back to go for the move there on Sam Aston. Oh, he decided, look, the only way I'm going to get a decent finish in this one is if I just get rid of the pair of you. And he literally launches in at Christmas from at least 4 kart lengths back, I think, when he started that move. That's amazing from Oliver Gibson.
Another move there trying to be made from the man in 5th place. That was Maddox Jan, couldn't quite get it done. Yeah, I was saying we don't have onboard cameras in this championship. They don't allow them, Jake, which is a bit unusual. I am, however, working hard to make sure that is not the case next year. Hopefully everybody will be able to use onboard cameras, and we're hoping I say, to be using 360-degree cameras next year, if possible.
Sam Aston not happy with Maddox Chan. He says, look, you've been fighting me so much that we've lost the podium now. We're only in the race for 4th place. That's irritation and frustration from Sam Aston. You were talking, interestingly, about onboard cameras then, Alan, and yes, we've had some fantastic shots in this particular channel, of course, from the 360 cameras. Remember the days about 10 years ago when everybody pretty much used to have onboard cameras? It used to cause all sorts of irritations and annoyances for the officials, because they would say, well, I want to go and have a look at this incident. Well, I want to have a go look at this incident.
I understand that, but when we're televising it, either we've got to be allowed to put them on, or the drivers should be allowed to run them, because then we get all sorts of onboard footage, which unfortunately we don't have. However, we do have the drone, which is given a great overall view of the action. The orange helmet there, obviously Archie Gale. You can see from the drone here how easy he is to spot in 2nd place with that orange helmet.
I've always been of the opinion that onboard cameras in karting, 6 per race. If you've got a big grid, depending on how many you've got in the grid, 6 per race is about enough, really, and you've got to put them at various different points through the grid as well to cover as much different types of action as possible. 2 up the front, 2 in the middle, 2 towards the rear. That's when you're going to get the best of it.
Problem is which 6 and who's putting them on.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can tell you, from a production point of view, that's almost impossible to do 6 in every race and pick them out.
You're always going to get the wrong one that you pick, aren't you? It's got to be a lottery at the end of the day, hasn't it? Here we go again, up the inside. This is Gibson for 2nd position. What a comeback in this race from Oliver Gibson. Started P9, don't forget, and is now P2. This is Hamilton-esque, dare I say. Maddox Chan up the inside of Samuel Aston. This time he's got to finish the move. Aston has got him back every time. This time he's ahead.
The clock's counted down though, Jake. He's going to be getting the last lap board next time he comes round, Harvey Williams. So there's not enough time for the man in 2nd place, Oliver Gibson, but it's a great drive nevertheless.
Yeah, 9th position to 2nd. You can be very happy indeed, very positive with that one. Shades of Buckmore Park 1998 as far as I'm concerned. Very well done, but as you say, he's just run out of time to go after Harvey Williams. He's put on an exceptional drive up front.
Final lap, it says on the digiboard. We know, Jake, we know that is wrong. It's just wrong. It should say last lap.
Last lap.
Don't start me. Don't start me.
The phrase book has never really been wrong on Alan Tadiai's desk. It's got all the old Chinas, all the old good ones. And so, absolutely. But what a brilliant run from Harvey Williams up front. Exemplary comeback from Oliver Gibson. That took guts, that took determination and a clear head. He knew exactly what his objective was to work his way forward. But this man, Harvey Williams, the second he took the lead off Archie Gale, he knew the objectives. He knew how hard to pull away and how hard to push. He's done it in perfect style. Excellent work there from Harvey Williams ahead of Oliver Gibson and Archie Gale. Maddox Chan does get his man in the end, ahead of Sam Aston. A good run there from Jacob Aston, P6, after a tough race with Dan Parsons. Sam Skellett effectively in no man's land there, sadly, in P8. But then Bertie Sol and Harry Lopper running well there at the back of the grid in their own private battle. 7 places made up, though, from Oliver Gibson. Very impressive indeed behind the winner, Williams. So now into the only class that I have raced in myself, Tillotson T4. Jason Bradbury and George Townsend, John Nuttall and Alistair Tinker, Owen Roberts and JJ Tad from Chris Alcock, Oliver Greening, Benjamin Draper and Santiago Artiega Bruce. And of course in this class, all roads lead to the World Finals in September, which don't worry folks, I will be at. Ed Davidson and James Townsend complete the grid in the seniors. In the juniors, it's Tom Harper on the pole from Martin Wright, then Brandon Edwards, Harry Ward, Matthew Stevens and William Omar. Once again, 2 classes in 1. Out of the final turn, and we're going to see a very good start indeed out front. Jason Bradbury launches forward. Good start as well from George Townsend. Think he got the jump there on John Nuttall. So excellent work as they work their way forward down to Christmas for the first time. The O-plate looking strong already. Owen Roberts trying to take on a driver or two. Here are the juniors as they go forward. And, oh, well, it looked like a couple of them actually moved out of the tram lines before the green flag fell. That could backfire on a couple of them.
Yeah, you can get penalties for that, but I think the officials will take a view. It's always difficult on a split grid if the first group go. What are you going to do? You're going to make them go around again in juniors? You can't.
Well, did you see the O-plate? Owen Roberts just launching in on the left-hander. That is incredible. So early in the race, Owen Roberts went, right, okay, I'm not waiting around. I'm not going to waste time. Get straight on with it. Into P2. That's monstrous from Owen Roberts and very good indeed. Now chasing down Jason Bradbury as they go across the line. It's Bradbury, Roberts, Nuttall, Townsend, Chris Alcock up to P5 and Alistair Tinker there in P6.
Jason Bradbury we know from the days of Super 1, I think, Jake. I'm assuming it's the same Jason Bradbury. High quality indeed as a driver, yes. No doubt. Another place made up.
Yeah, at the expense of Chris Alcock. That was Tinker getting through. Chris Alcock, who I've seen in many different categories from Club 100 to the Daytona Super Champs, and now here he is in Tillotson T4 Seniors. But he's got a bit of work to do if he wants to get some silverware today. I always consider Tillotson T4 to be the Porsche Carrera Cup of karting. It is so even and so competitive. You've got so many drivers of so many mixed abilities. Everyone in this has an opportunity to play for the big points and the big prizes. It is a wonderful series on a kart that is so versatile and so good at teaching youngsters, newbies into motorsport for the first time, how to go quickly, but also those who have a lot of experience, how to have fun with their racing again.
Yeah, people often ask me, what kart should I buy if I want to get into karting? Well, if I was an adult, to be honest, this is probably one of the karts I would consider, although you should always look at what's racing at your local club, because you don't just go on the national stage. You want to race in a class that's quite competitive, got a decent grid at your local club. So always look at that. Senior Rotax, if you're a senior, obviously one of those classes, there's pretty much always a grid for that. This is more of a national class, but I do love it, I have to say.
Yeah, someone like me who doesn't mind sleeping in the back of the car would absolutely choose this, hand over fist on any other class. It's great fun, it's an amazing racing, and you really do test yourselves amongst some of the best talent in the country. This is not about money. This is not about which team do you run in, what equipment you run, how long have you been testing. This is about great talent. Here comes Roberts, dives in on Bradbury, gets the run. So Owen Roberts takes the lead. The O-plate has worked his way to the front, but I don't think Jason Bradbury's going to take this line down. Look how tight that top 5 has become as a result of that overtake now as well. Alistair Tinker is now at the back of this train, and Chris Alcock at the front of the following train is looking at this thinking, okay, a few more overtakes, guys, and I'm in this fight myself.
Crazy how good this race is. Highly competitive again. Only a dozen drivers in it, but there's not much of a gap between pretty much all of them, especially these 5 at the front.
Trying to follow both classes simultaneously is, of course, always very difficult. The juniors having their own race, and it looks like there's a great battle going on for the top 3 in the juniors as well. We'll try and keep an eye on it for as long as we possibly can. But Bradbury, Nuttall, Townsend, Tinker and Alcock are now in the same bit of racetrack pursuing the leader, Owen Roberts. The O-plate is not going to have things his own way for long. Watch out for John Nuttall really starting to breathe the exhaust fumes and spit them back into the face of Jason Bradbury anytime he turns his shoulder to the right or left. This is going to get tricky. Even JJ Tad is working with Chris Alcock to now get this down, and it is now a 6-kart train. It could become a 7 or 8-kart train before long, because you've got Tad and Draper not that far away, and because there's no overtake coming from Nuttall, from Townsend, from Tinker, they're all in a line. Chris Alcock has been able to just slowly pursue them, get in the draft, and now there he is. It is an 8-kart train now. I did say that Tad and Draper were going to be pursuing, and now it is 8 drivers fighting for the victory. This is turning into one of the races of the season in Tillotson T4.
Chris Alcock had the fastest lap at the end of the previous lap, but it's Bradbury again that's got it now.
I thought Bradbury was going to go for the move there into Christmas. He moved out almost as if he said, right, this is my chance to go for a conventional move. Then he thought against it. He kind of popped back in behind Owen Roberts, maybe thinking perhaps this is a bit early to go for that kind of move because we've still got 5 minutes left on the clock. You want to time these things right. You don't want to get yourselves into hot water and then find you've got 3 or 4 drivers who can make mincemeat of you on the Concertina effect.
Great shot as they come out of the hairpin there. It's the O plate.
Oh, big launch on the inside from Nuttall. He gets side by side with Bradbury. Bradbury's not going to resist this. Oh, very close in the mix. You don't see battling like that too often on the new section. And now Tinker is going to go side by side with Townsend on the run to P4. Oh, that was brave from Nuttall, but what that's done is it's given Owen Roberts a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah, it handed him a decent lead there, didn't it? Owen Roberts is not 0, by the way, if you're new to karting. That's an O plate on his kart, and the O stands for British Open, frankly. So that means he is the British Open champion in this class. That is a one-weekend event. The one-weekend event, the British Open, as we call it now, used to be the British Championship, Jake. British Championship used to be over one weekend, going back to the days of Terry Fullerton and Ayrton Senna. But these days it's a series, obviously.
Little bit of a nudge again from Townsend, now making his own move on Nuttall. Oh, what a beautiful opportunistic move from Chris Alcock, driving his way around the outside, and he gains a place, as does Alistair Tinker. Townsend is the one that gets spat down to P6, and that's what that kind of move can do. It puts you on the back foot, it allows your opponent to get the best of you. Now here comes Townsend to come back on the inside of Alcock, and watch on the far side because Tad wants a piece of it. Alcock says, no chance, I want to be in the top 5. I know I've lost out to Townsend, but I'm certainly not going to drop to as low as P7. JJ, you're going to have to try something else.
Great action again in this race, delivering all the action here at Whilton Mill. So it's a T4 class, as I said before, Jake. I think, I'd have to consider this class if I was thinking of a class that's simple to get into, simple to run. These karts just deliver everything you would need if you're a new driver to karting, albeit it's more of a national championship class.
Well, come on, Alan, you weigh less than me nowadays. We could totally, both of us, go and have a crack at this. Why not? Wipe the cobwebs off the old helmet, Alan. Get back in the game.
Yeah, I've put probably a stone and a half on since I had the big C and recovered from that. But yeah, I'm still trying to lose some weight.
So Owen Roberts in front of Jason Bradbury, John Nuttall, Alistair Tinker. Both those men, by the way, getting personal bests on the previous lap. They've opened up a little bit of an advantage to George Townsend and an even bigger one to Chris Alcock, but Alcock's not out of it. Did you see John Nuttall just getting it wrong? You just carry a little bit too much pace through that one corner and you suddenly find you've got the runoff area. If you don't react to that in time, suddenly you've got a mouthful of grass blades, and that's never easy to come back from. On karts as small and as nimble as this, you really feel going over that grass. It's a bit like cannoning into a ton of bricks. You really feel the physicality of that.
If we had a race, if we did get a chance to race in this, Jake, I wonder who would win between me and you.
There's no question. You'd walk all over me, Alan. You'd walk all over me.
Thanks,
I don't even need to ask that question.
I appreciate your confidence.
No, you totally would. I mean, all the work you did with Stevie back in the day, there's no way I'd beat you. No chance. You'd have the best tyre pressures, the best setup, everything.
I'm not sure Stevie would agree to this.
So anyway, up at the front, Roberts and Bradbury are trying to pull clear of Nuttall, Tinker, Townsend, Tad, Alcock and Draper. So JJ has made that magic move, got into P6. But Jason Bradbury's not done yet by any means. He's just keeping Owen Roberts honest at the moment, but by staying on his rear bumper, this is where Nuttall and Tinker can get a little bit of a hunger burst. They can really start to try and chase after these two leaders. Track limits there for George Townsend. That's interesting. The man with the fastest lap of the race on the last lap. So an interesting one. Right, now Roberts is having to go defensive to keep Jason Bradbury at bay. This is perfect for Nuttall and Tinker. This is what they want. They want Roberts and Bradbury to be swerving around and snapping at each other's heels, because that gives them, particularly John Nuttall in third, who's already started to gain some ground, the chance to go for the victory. This is their invitation.
Indeed, and what do we say about the man in third? You're in the box seat if the two in front tangle. So how many times have we seen that? Incredibly, somebody in third, the two leaders tangle, and then the man in third suddenly is the race leader and takes the win.
Through the right, through the second right of that complex, then the quick left and into that hairpin. It changes the speed and pace of the circuit dramatically for some. Changes nothing in terms of setup. James Townsend's got a problem. There he is, James Townsend, right at the back of the field, unfortunately, and it's all gone wrong for him. He's parked the kart up at Christmas. And that's Jason Bradbury swarming around behind Owen Roberts again. Roberts has to hold it. Well, that's very close to the edge of the circuit, but fortunately in karting, the drivers can see that. They're of a senior level. I think if that was a junior or a mini class or a cadet class, there might have been a Battenberg for that, but these guys, they can read the situation. They know where the yellow flag is. They're not going to get caught out by that, so I think that's all fair in love and war between the drivers there. We've run out of time. We're on the penultimate.
Yeah, the driver in third place getting a lot closer now, looking to pick up any pieces if the two in front do tangle. Indeed, I think he's going to have a look up in Christmas Corner. He's got to look up in Christmas Corner to go for second.
Stationary yellow flag, though, on the marshal post across the start-finish line, and that's still for that incident, so he can't make the overtaking move into Christmas. Bradbury is hunting down Roberts. If they've seen a green flag, then he can go for the move. If not, he has to wait, and indeed, he's had to hang back a little bit. They've moved the kart further across. Now they can go green flag racing again, but was that the one chance that Bradbury and Nuttall were ever going to have to make that move? They've got to be very brave on this last lap if they're going to take it.
Hairpin's the last chance, really, for Bradbury. He's not close enough. He lost the kart's length coming through the left-hander.
This could be a race for second for John Nuttall, not for the victory. Bradbury is just a little way further back from Roberts than he would like to be. We could see a slam dunk manoeuvre in the final couple of corners. It's not going to be enough for Bradbury. He'll have to settle for second. It's been a nail-biter to the end, but the O-plate, Owen Roberts, has absolutely stormed it to the victory in front of Bradbury, Nuttall and Tinker. Not even a second between them all at the flag. We seem to have had an incident on the last lap of the juniors. Will Omar was leading from Martin Wright and Thomas Harper, but Omar's gone clean off the road. Now, I don't know what started that or what happened. Omar's shaking his head, so that tells us that maybe something untoward has happened out of the view of the cameras. It's going to be Martin Wright that crosses the line ahead of Thomas Harper, but William Omar is clearly very unhappy with the way this race has played out, so there could be some investigations afterwards. Well, Tillotson T4 exciting in both classes then. It's a win for Owen Roberts ahead of Jason Bradbury, John Nuttall and Alistair Tinker, but there's less than 0.8 of a second between the four of them. George Townsend P5 ahead of JJ Tadd, who wins his battle with Benjamin Draper. Chris Alcock slipping back to 8th in the end. Oliver Greening and Ed Davidson, their battle ends in Oliver Greening's favour. In the juniors, there were some post-race investigations. The winner is declared as Thomas Harper, as William Omar is promoted to second, Brandon Edwards in third, Martin Wright demoted to P4, Harry Ward in fifth position, and Matthew Stevens the only non-finisher. Great battles across the board here at Whilton Mill.
We're back at Whilton Mill for round 6 of the UK Kart Series. That's in around 4 weeks' time on your local station. Join us then.